If more stories could master the economics of this scene, we'd have beautiful movies. And that's exactly how governments all over the world deal with gangs, rebels, and politicians.
You ever heard the saying, there's no such thing as a free lunch?
Still lunchtime?
Oh, come on. It's like they want me to react to this. Hello, crewmates. My name is Craig Paulson, and I am an economics professor. I believe economics enriches how we tell stories, and stories enrich how we learn economics. Today, we're diving into the brilliant economics in the live-action One Piece.
Piracy is the scourge upon this world. For too long, villains and miscreants have sown havoc across our seas. But the Marines, on behalf of your world government, strive to keep you safe and protected. And today, we've made a great stride in that effort. Gold Roger, the so-called king of the pirates, has been captured. His reign of terror ends this day. Peace shall be restored. Let this be a message to break the spirit of anyone foolish enough to follow in its footsteps. Gold Roger, you have been sentenced to death for the crimes of piracy, thievery, and conspiracy against the world government. Do you have any last words?
Yeah. You take these off. Starting to itch.
Okay, this scene uses economics that is so obvious, you'll be surprised to hear that it won a Nobel Prize. Seriously, a Nobel Prize. Yet proving that it works in real life has been harder than Netflix keeping a show longer than one season. Just like Zoro executes pirates at sea by drawing his swords, we're going to explain piracy by drawing our weapon, price theory. We'll draw our graph, but instead of labeling it supply and demand, we're going to label it marginal cost and marginal benefit. This x-axis right here is going to be how much piracy we have. That's a quantity. And then this is going to be the price. This actually kind of looks like a Jolly Roger if we just drew, I don't know, I hope that... that doesn't look too bad. Kind of looks like a Jolly Roger, and we're going to use this to explain rational piracy. And maybe that's why pirates are always waving this flag around. It's to show that they are rational pirates. We're going to take this as the individual deciding how much piracy is optimal to commit. And just like in any of these types of graphs, the optimal amount of piracy is right here at the intersection. You are here, which means that the optimal amount of piracy for this individual is right there at Q star. So what is this execution saying? Well, it's saying piracy will cost you your life. They're trying to raise the marginal cost of piracy, which, maybe we need to get rid of Het Skull, but we're trying to shift that marginal cost curve up or to the left, and that's going to bring the optimal amount of piracy down to this amount, right? It's decrease because the costs have gone up. I mean, this is the first scene of the show, and we're already deep in economics. This is excellent.
Where is your treasure? Tell us where you hid it!
You want to know where my treasure is? I'll tell you. Wealth, fame, power. I found everything this world has to offer. Free yourselves. Take to the seas. My treasure is yours to find.
Gold Roger just became the Willy Wonka of pirates. How is this going to affect our graph? Well, he just said, if you become a pirate, you might find the gold ticket. He raised the marginal benefit of piracy. In fact, he raised it so much that the new intersection is over here. Even at the higher marginal cost, we have more piracy than we had before. And you see that as people are flooding out of the town square. So I mentioned that this won a Nobel Prize. There was an economist who thought, hey, instead of trying to explain the price of bread, what if we tried to explain why people steal bread? So he started applying price theory to criminal behavior, explaining how deterrence affects crime. He had a huge influence on the field because he inspired economists to apply price theory to lots of different behaviors. His name was Gary Becker. One of Becker's insights is that for each individual, there's an optimal level of crime, or in this case, piracy. And usually that's not zero, but we're going to get to that later. Also, I should mention that the question of whether the death penalty actually deters crime has been very hard to answer. The evidence goes in all sorts of directions and stretches farther than a gum pistol.
Everything!
I loved this. This was such a clever way to use economics to communicate something about the pirates. Bounties are proportional to danger, so if you see a big number, you know that dude or gal is serious. That's economics making stories better.
And these devil fruit powers are gonna make me the greatest pirate ever.
Luffy, what do you know about devil fruits?
They don't taste very good.
No two are the same. You see, they each grant you a unique ability, but there's a reason they're called devil fruits. It's because of the deal you make when you eat one. Mother Ocean turns her back on you and the sea can take away your strength.
I knew nothing about One Piece before watching this, and this revelation made me so happy. It is such a good example of how economics can enhance world building and make our stories more interesting. To really see it, let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a story about someone who has no flaws. In fact, he's not only flawless, he has every superpower you could want. Flight, super strength, invulnerability, and on top of all that, he's deadly handsome. He has no weaknesses. How fun would it be to watch a story about that? Even though we all know that's not interesting, Warner Brothers keeps trying to reboot the Superman franchise. Now, I know you're saying Superman does have a weakness, but kryptonite is worse as a weakness than crypto is for a currency. It's a rare rock that isn't even native to Earth. Superman's weakness does not create any trade-offs. Maybe there are temporary trade-offs, like at the beginning of Smallville when Clark couldn't function around Lana because she wore a kryptonite necklace. But it doesn't really create a trade-off in how he lives his life. But here's Luffy with a massive trade-off. He wants to be a pirate, but now he's crippled by the ocean. Water is the opposite of kryptonite. It's everywhere, especially for a pirate. Luffy got a cool new power, but at a huge personal cost.
All I know is that the gum fruit is worth more than all of Shanks' treasure. And I ate it, so that makes me worth more.
You ever heard the saying there's no such thing as a free lunch?
Still lunchtime?
Oh, come on. It's like they want me to react to this. I mean, this is great because this is showing the trade-off, forcing him to give up this valuable map.
My cat.
Oh, I love this scene. It got me so curious, and it made a later scene hit so much harder. If more stories could master the economics of this scene, we'd have beautiful movies. Up to this point, we've seen Luffy recover his hat a couple of times.
Hey, give me back my hat! Hey, it's not cool.
Clearly, he cares about it, but this time feels different. Why? Economists want to know what you like, but we hate asking you what you like. Why they hate? Because it's easy to lie. When economists want to know what candy bar you like, they put two in front of you. They give you some cash and they ask you, which one are you going to buy? Your choices show what you like. This is called the principle of revealed preference, and it does a lot of heavy lifting in economics. But the key to revealed preference is that you have to have two viable options. You can't give someone $5, watch him grab a McDonald's burger, then say, well, I guess he didn't want the ribeye. He needs to be able to afford it. And Luffy here has two options right next to each other. The map that is so valuable that Marines and pirates are fighting to get it, or the dingy straw hat that only Luffy cares about. And which does he choose? Now, Luffy could learn something about option values, but the fact that he sacrifices something for the hat tells me it matters to him, and I want to know why.
I'm gonna be a pirate captain. With my own ship, and a crew that will always have each other's backs. We're gonna be the greatest pirates the world has ever seen. Even greater than your crew. I'm gonna find the One Piece and become king of the pirates.
Greater than even us, huh? In that case, this hat's the most precious thing I own. It means the world to me. And I want you to take it. When we meet again, you can give it back to me. But only after you become a great pirate. That'll be our promise. Be good, Luffy.
Let's compare this scene to one of the cheesiest scenes in Star Wars.
I don't know you anymore. Anakin, you're breaking my heart.
Natalie Portman is putting as much emotion as she can into this scene, yet instead of making me emotional, it just makes me laugh. It is so easy to say you're feeling an emotion, just like it's easy to say you like a certain candy bar. But if you want to see if someone is really feeling that emotion, you'll see it reflected in their actions. When Shanks delivers that line, we already know that Luffy treats it as a treasure because of his actions, because of revealed preference.
You ever hear of anyone called Mihawk?
Best swordsman in the world? Better with a blade than anyone in living history. One of the 7 warlords of the seas?
Warlords?
Years ago, there were these 7 incredibly powerful pirates, each one worse than the next. They ruled the seas, terrorizing everyone they came across. The world government could have gone after them, but that would have meant an all-out war. They realized it'd be more useful to keep them close, as allies. So they struck a deal to work together.
Why would the Marines need to work with pirates?
To do the things they didn't want tied back to them. In exchange, the warlords were given free rein.
So do pirate stuff. Illegal pirate stuff.
Kobe, you may know how to tie a knot, but you don't know about how the world works.
This gets to what I was saying earlier about Gary Becker. There are some crimes where the cost of policing the crime exceeds the benefit. For example, in some countries, it's common to see someone selling pirated movies on the side of the road. Those countries have so many other problems that the police don't bother with such a minor crime. But if you were to try that where I live in Utah, for our police, that would be one of the biggest crimes of the year. They'd be excited to shut you down. The situation in One Piece goes even beyond that. The warlords are competent enough to take on the Marines, so the cost of stopping them is super high. But they also have an aligned interest with the Marines. Too many pirates leads to too much competition. That's why our introduction to Mihawk is him fighting high-value pirates.
What can I do for you, Vice Admiral?
We can demonstrate this again in a very simple graph. So if they fight, they each get some value. Here on the left, we'll say this is what the pirates get. And on the right, we'll say this is what the Marines get. I'll shade this so that way we can see the difference. And, you know, what the size of this value is doesn't really matter that much. The point is there's some sort of value from them fighting and what they can expect to win from that. But if they cooperate and seek their aligned interests, they can actually create more value on top of that. Now, how they divide this value is going to be up to the negotiation process between them. The Marines might draw the line over here and capture a lot of the value. Maybe the pirates get it over here. I don't know exactly how this is going to be divided up, but the point is they'll get the value they had before, and then they're going to get a little bit more. It's a better world for them if they cooperate than if they fight. And that's exactly how governments all over the world deal with gangs, rebels, and politicians. If you want to learn more about this whole process, actually, there's this great book right here called Why We Fight, and he goes into this exact situation and examples of it all over the world. That's definitely not all of the economics in one piece, but I think that's enough for one episode. But if you're interested in learning more economics from stories, then you definitely need to check out this playlist right here.